Hey, if you've been reading my reviews and if you've been following me for a while, or you watch this channel, you know I've been on a quest to find the perfect 16-inch creator laptop, for me anyway. But I always wanted to love the Lenovo Yoga 9i Pro, and it often came this close to being the laptop that I always wanted. But there were a couple things that stopped that from happening, because for years Windows users have been forced to accept compromises, and with this one you still have some compromises as well, but they're fewer than they have been in the past. So you either get great performance with terrible battery life and a clunky chassis, or you get something that thermal throttles the second you open a DaVinci Resolve timeline. Because of that, the MacBook Pro has sat on a bit of an unchallenged throne for creators who just want to get their work done without the headache. And now the new Dell XPS 16 has held my attention because of its form factor and its lightweightness and its beauty and everything else. But now, this year, Lenovo released the Yoga Pro 9i, the Yoga 9i Pro, and the Aura Edition, they call it. They've been doing that a lot lately with the Aura Edition. But there's a few key features of this generation that have finally put it up there, have finally given me things that I've wanted in this Yoga Pro 9i series, and I'm happy that they've done this. So let's get into the rest of this video. Now, generally I do unboxings, but I couldn't wait on this one. I didn't do an unboxing. I just opened the damn thing and I started using it. And the minute I saw it, I fell in love. It is a beauty of a laptop. On paper, Lenovo has historically given us great screens, but left us with annoying design quirks that kept it from taking the crown. This year, though, they listened and they fixed some design flaws, at least for me, that I've been complaining about for many years now. And they've also packed it with Intel's latest architecture and shed some serious weight on this laptop. These old Yoga 9i Pros have been generally heavy, but this year they really did a great job of shaving that weight off. So today we're going to dive into the specs and talk a little bit about why I am kind of over the moon about this laptop. And like I said, we're not going into an unboxing here, but you get the standard documentation, you get the Yoga Pen Gen 2 in the box, and you get the power brick, which we'll talk about later. But let's get straight to the hardware, because the moment you open the lid, I realized, and you will realize, that Lenovo finally did it. And you may not like this, but I love it. They ditched the number pad. They ditched it. I hate number pads. I want my trackpad to be centered on the deck, and that is what it is now. I know some of you spreadsheet warriors are going to cry in the comments, but for creators, video editors, and writers, an offset keyboard is a typing nightmare. By killing the number pad, Lenovo has finally beautifully centered the keyboard and centered the trackpad. You aren't typing at an awkward angle anymore, and your wrists rest naturally on the deck. It feels symmetrical, it looks premium, and from a pure usability standpoint, it changes the entire experience of using this laptop. The chassis itself is wrapped in Thunder Gray. It's clean, it's matte, and it passes the MIL STD 810H durability test, and it does feel like a tank, but without the typical Windows laptop clunkiness. So that brings me to the second big win here, the weight. Historically, the Yoga Pro 9i has been a bit of a heavy beast to haul around, but for this Gen 11 Aura Edition, it sheds massive amounts of weight. It now starts about 1.9 kilos, that's about 4.19 pounds. And when you consider this is a fully aluminum 16-inch machine with discrete graphics, getting it down to 4.19 pounds and as thin as 17.2 millimeters is an engineering achievement to me. It balances perfectly in the hand. It doesn't feel like a burden in the backpack anymore. Lenovo has managed to match the footprint and portability of the MacBook Pro 16, and honestly, it puts a lot of pressure. It really does put a lot of pressure on the Dell XPS 16, which can feel a bit denser and more rigid by comparison. This actually feels like a laptop you want to travel with. The XPS 16 is a little thinner and a little bit slightly lighter than the Yoga Pro 9i, but it's not far off. So let's get into another win for me. Let's talk about another major upgrade that is really got me excited, and that is the addition of the haptic force trackpad. Lenovo threw away the old mechanical diving board trackpad and they replaced it with the haptic trackpad. Windows manufacturers have historically struggled with haptic trackpads, but this one is incredibly precise. It's very nice to use. The feedback is uniform no matter where you press, and because it's centered with the spacebar now, palm rejection works flawlessly. But here's the kicker for artists and designers. The force pad actually has a built-in sensor that allows it to interact seamlessly with the included Yoga Pen Gen 2. Combined with the Wacom technology, you can use the pen directly on the screen or utilize the deck controls for precise sketching and markups. It's a seamless piece of creative control that genuinely gives this machine a leg up over Apple's MacBook Pro and the Dell XPS 16. Of course, a creator laptop lives or dies by its display, and Lenovo absolutely went all out here. You can configure this with a 16-inch 3.2K Pro Tandem OLED panel running at 120 Hz variable refresh rate. So let's talk these numbers because they're staggering and amazing. We are looking at a peak HDR brightness of 1600 nits and 1000 nits for SDR content. If you work in bright environments or near Windows, this panel utterly destroys standard laptop displays. For accuracy, it covers 100% sRGB, 100% DCI-P3, and 100% Adobe RGB with delta E of less than 1. It is Pantone and Pantone skin tone validated for you Lightroom users. What you see on the screen is exactly what you get in final delivery. The blacks are infinitely deep thanks to the VESA Display HDR True Black 1000 certification, and the 16:10 aspect ratio gives you that extra vertical real estate for timeline tracks or coding and writing. I love it when I'm in WordPress. It's fantastic, and it's easily one of the finest displays on any laptop on the market today, period. It is right up there with the Dell XPS 16. Powering the whole experience is Intel's latest chipset, the Intel Core 9 386H processor built on the advanced TSMC 3nm process. It features 16 cores and 16 threads, pushing up to 4.9 GHz on turbo boost. What matters here isn't the raw clock speed, it's the efficiency and the NPU, which pushes up to 50 TOPS for on-device AI workloads. Lenovo has paired this with up to 64 gigs of ultra-fast LPDDR5X RAM, clocked at 7,467 megatransfers per second, and up to 2 terabytes PCIe Gen 5 SSD capabilities. For graphics, you're looking at the new NVIDIA GeForce RTX 50 series laptop GPUs, configurable up to an RTX 5070. Thanks to Lenovo's X-Power thermal design, which utilizes dual fans and a 3D mesh plate, this machine can handle a sustained 130-watt TDP. When you throw a heavy 4K render or 3D modeling project at it, the cooling system does keep the heat in check without sounding like a jet engine on takeoff. The performance is steady, predictable, but incredibly fast. Let's talk sound, because the speakers on this thing are fantastic, near MacBook quality. Let's talk about it because Lenovo has overhauled the audio array. We now have a 6-speaker setup with Dolby Atmos, consisting of 4 dual-side woofers and 2 dedicated tweeters. It's loud, it's full, and it actually has genuine low-end bass depth. For a long time, the MacBook Pro has embarrassed Windows laptops when it came to speakers, but finally this new array here has closed the gap. I wouldn't say it's a 1-to-1. I think MacBook Pro still has a slight edge, but this Yoga 9i Pro is really amazing and sounds great. Connectivity, they didn't skimp either. On the left, you get 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, HDMI 2.1 port, and an audio jack. On the right, you get 2 USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports and a full-size SD card reader supporting UHS 2 speeds. No dongles required with this guy, unlike the Dell XPS 16, which will require a dongle. Plus, you've got cutting-edge Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4 built right in. Now, you might be questioning the choice of Thunderbolt 4 ports instead of Thunderbolt 5, but I'm okay with it. I think Thunderbolt 4 is fine. But let's talk about the brick, the big elephant of a brick power supply that comes with this laptop. Sounds like a perfect laptop, right? It's thin, it's light, the keyboard is centered, the trackpad is haptic, and the screen is legendary. But I promised that I'd be fair, and there's one glaring issue that does drive me crazy, and that is the power supply. This thing is a beast. Because this machine demands serious wattage to feed that Core Ultra 9 and the RTX 50, Lenovo ships this with a massive 245 watt AC adapter, and that's where the Dell XPS wins. The XPS 16 has a much smaller adapter. It's easier to carry around. But to be fair, if you don't need all that wattage, you should be able to power this up with a 140 watt travel adapter, just to keep juice in it, and if you're not putting it under heavy load. But I have to say that this huge adapter does completely undercut the engineering victory of making the laptop itself lighter. You save all the weight on the chassis only to have thrown in a literal brick into your bag if you want to do high performance editing on the go. So it does support Rapid Charge Express to get you 3 hours of life in 15 minutes, but I really want to see Windows manufacturers figure out how to shrink these power bricks down to a GaN technology out of the box. Something like that would be great to see, but it's still an awesome laptop, even with this larger brick. I will say it does look like the brick has shrunk a little bit. It's not a massive difference between the old brick, but it is a slightly smaller. All right, so where does that leave us? The 2026 Lenovo Yoga Pro 99 Aura Edition starts around $27.99. It's an investment. Yes, absolutely it is. But for the first time in years, I can look at a 16-inch Windows Creator laptop and say that the design compromises are gone. By centering the keyboard, fixing the trackpad, dropping the weight, and upgrading the audio, Lenovo has created a machine that directly challenges the MacBook Pro 16 on its home turf. And in terms of the display and touch flexibility, it might actually beat the MacBook Pro. But right now, this and the Dell XPS 16 are locked in a brutal cage match, for my attention anyway. The XPS has that hyper-futuristic look, but the practical, refined usability of the Yoga Pro 9i makes it a terrifyingly strong contender for my laptop of the year. If you want to read the full review, make sure you head over to TECHAERIS.com in a couple weeks, where I have a written review of this laptop. But make sure you drop a comment down below, ask a question if you have questions. Does the missing number pad bother you? Do you like it? Do you like having that trackpad centered and the keyboard centered? Or do you want that number pad? For me, I like not having a number pad. Now, I don't ding a laptop for having a number pad when I do reviews. It's not like I'm not deducting points for having a number pad, but it's just something that I don't enjoy. That is it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys highly. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment below. Make sure you share the video. And do all the things that help us grow and help get this video noticed in the algorithm, because there's a lot of videos out there, and we want to get ours out there as well. So I appreciate all the help that you guys give us. Make sure you hit the links below in the comments section there, or in the description. We'll have a link to the website. I also have a link to my new merch shop, so you can buy some TECHAERIS t-shirts, coffee mugs, whatever you want. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. A lot of new designs I got out there, so make sure you support the channel by buying some merch. I appreciate it, and share with your friends. Yeah. More importantly, make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will talk to you on the other side.